hitting that report button so freaking fast, and then it's just
I don't know if
gone.
it's them. It's TikTok just looking for triggered words or targeting towards people. Like if you say you and then like a
Yeah, but there
specific
is a
word,
report button.
oh, that could be too. I don't know.
And I mean, literally nothing in the last one that got reported. There was literally nothing that I said that could even be interpreted as incorrect. They're just weak people, I guess.
Sure.
And immediate, they were online. They were still online when I commented too, and I could see they were online and active. I mean, almost immediately it got reported.
I want to come up with a new some phrase or a response for the people that just don't add anything to the comments. Like if you're not even going to talk about the video and you're just going to like, mom's basement, you know, talk to girls.
You're bald.
You're bald. Those people, I'm just
That's
like,
so funny to me.
Okay, I'm just going to start saying something like IQ 52 or something like that.
Go,
and just, you know what I mean? Just that'll be my response.
Yeah.
From now on. That way I still add a comment to it, generate responses, right? And then
or I mean,
leave it as it is. I don't know.
I mean, I told someone, you know, it's funny that you can't offer a logical rebuttal. Yeah. But thanks for the comment and the engagement anyway, right? You're still boosting. You're still boosting us.
Thanks for the help, fool.
Yeah.
Great.
It's so ironic. You go on there, you just feel deep down inside that with every fiber of your being that you have to put something like that on someone else's post. You're just helping it gain traction. Like you're if you wanted to go away so bad, you wouldn't say anything, right? It's just that's so funny.
That's true. I did have this conversation earlier. I was talking about it. I was like, what if we just flip the script one day, since it seems like most of our engagement is women anyway, and just one day we come in with all positive female energy, and then all the comments are just going crazy, like
April Fools.
You got it. Oh my God, you said it all right.
No,
fuck these men.
No, because then you're gonna get people in. I mean, it's that you're just never gonna make them happy, right? Why are you mansplaining?
It's well, not if we're doing it in their favor. They won't say that. If you go in and be like, men are just shit, they're just dogs, they're not worth dating anymore. Then they'll be like, yeah.
All the blue-haired turnips come out and be like,
they comment though. They're the ones that comment. They'll get so much traction. Anyway,
social media is a beautiful thing, huh?
It's a beautiful place. It's fantastic.
Honestly, that really makes me think. I mean, it's too late this year, but next year we really need to do like an April Fool's Day thing.
April Fool's episode of some kind.
And just
go full opposite day.
Yeah, just complete satire.
Well, you got the spoilers if we end up doing it. You heard it here.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
I've got a couple of new takes this week. A little bit of what's going on in the news, and then one curious question just about dating. Okay. That's what I got kind of lined up. How many things do you have?
I sent them to you.
Okay. You sent
well, I mean, I have a question, yeah.
Okay, and then just the videos that you sent? Okay, got it. All right. So let's go into just my topics, and then we'll jump into some of these videos. We'll kind of split it up a little bit. Okay. So new take from... This is now our 17th week of doing this episodes. Seeing the responses that we're getting from women, from men, in general, society, watching other videos that are out there, right? A conclusion that I'm coming to, and I wanted to hear what you think about this, is just don't get married. I don't think marriage is even a thing anymore. It's not viable. Nobody wants it, neither the men or the women. Everybody's you are the minority if you want to be married. And the reason that I'm putting this is these girls' minds in today's day and age are just poisoned. Yeah. They don't want the traditional thing. So instead of fighting with them and telling them, you need to get married, you're doing it wrong. Well, just let them be. Let them be fucking miserable fucks. So why even argue anymore?
So you have a point. Okay. I would line item veto that and say like most women are like that. I haven't experienced this yet, unfortunately. I've been told that a lot of like small town Midwestern women are still very traditional, looking for that. But at the same time, they still have access to social media, so without seeing it really.
And my question is, how many of those girls are probably in the age group that you would want to get married to anyway, 18 through
Right,
25,
yeah.
and they just haven't been poisoned enough yet?
Right, yeah, that could be
And
it
are you just
too.
going to get divorced in 6 years anyway?
It's funny you actually brought that up.
Right.
There's a few videos we've got to go through that will be
Okay.
like, this is why.
Yeah.
No, but I saw on Reddit actually. I get bored. I like to look for like the relationship issues and stuff like that because
Yep.
it just gives things to talk about, right?
Sure.
And one guy, he posted in like one of those unpopular opinion subreddits about how people need to get over age gap relationships and men like becoming passport bros and going overseas and things like that because like it like there's essentially saying that there's just really nothing wrong with it, and the people that do have a problem with it are typically like middle-aged to older bitter women who are single.
Sure.
And can't command a man like that anymore.
Speaking of, real quick, just to say something, I was coerced into watching 90 Day Fiance this week.
Oh, sure.
Season 1.
Sure, coerced.
Let's just put it that way. And season 1 took place in 2012. There are like 11 seasons, at least from what I was seeing now, right?
I graduated high school.
Most of the people, I'm going to say, at least from the first episode that I watched, they were like originator of the passport bros, those guys. Every single one of them was Philippines, Brazil, Colombia. They were all flying these girls in, and they were getting their visa that only lasted 90 days to get married. So originally that's where this whole thing started, it seems like. And these guys were
yeah, they're rough, right? Really, like really rough. But they got money.
They don't even.
Really?
One guy's living at his parents' house, does oil work overseas, and he literally just flew this girl in from Brazil to live in his parents' house.
If he's in the oil field and he works overseas, he's probably making good money.
Offshore, I should say, not overseas, but
well, even then, I mean, he's making
and he was
better than average.
He was a little.
Oh.
So he was the least manly man I've ever seen. There was another one that was, he got a girl from Colombia to fly in. And when I say this girl took over the relationship in the first 3 minutes, he is going to be the domesticated house bitch for the rest of his life. Okay? This girl has probably seen more Colombian cack than a doctor.
God. And
she just ran the show from the get-go. So I looked into where she was today. She's got over 100,000 followers on Instagram. She's still posting booty pics, but they are still together 14 years later. But she's definitely running the show, probably makes all the money. It's just, so that was not one of my topics today, but you brought it up with the whole passport bros and younger women thing, because a lot of these guys were a little bit older too than the girls they were bringing in.
So speaking of the post, I was like, these comments are going to be on fire. So I was looking through them. I cannot believe it. All of the people who were, most people, surprisingly, which is wild for Reddit to be this based, were talking about how age gaps really like aren't, like they're not an issue. And if it was a woman commenting in that regard, she was like, me and my husband are 5 years apart, we're 8 years apart, we're 10 years apart, whatever. And like, it's great.
Most of the ones, that's what I've noticed about just the internet in general and in the comment section. People automatically think whatever their situation is the right way.
Yeah.
Whether they're single and 50, whether they're married and 20, they're living a life where they have 18 husbands.
Yeah.
It's right.
But all the dudes were sitting there, pretty much saying, yeah, age gaps like are nothing to be, that this is normal. Like, it's not like, if we're 5 years apart, it's not like I was boning it's not like I was boning my wife when I was 16 and she was 11, right? We met when we were adults, and it just doesn't matter anymore.
Sure. The older you get, the less the age gap matters.
Yeah.
Like when you're 40 and 50, it's still a 10-year gap, but who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Who cares?
Right.
But it's so funny because there were still people in the comments who were like, oh, that's gross and this, that, and the other. And then you go in and people were calling them out in replies, but you look at their posts, it's like they're posting cat pics or like
Of course.
they talk in other posts about being older and they're women, and it's like
They pick and choose which personality they want to bring out in each comment section.
Yeah.
Depending on who they're talking to.
But it's like you're just proving the point. Thank you. You help make the point.
A lot of these comments that we get are people just literally proving my point. It's incredible.
And like I've said it before, I'm probably going to end up having to go overseas to find a woman that I'm comfortable marrying anyway.
At this point, yeah.
I mean, if it doesn't happen, if I don't do it and I meet someone here, great. But
you don't go anywhere though.
I go a little bit.
You go to friends' houses and you go to work. Where do you go? You ain't gonna meet nobody. It's gonna be very hard, is what I'm saying. If you don't ever leave the house, you're never gonna meet somebody.
I mean, you make it seem like I'm, like a shut-in or a
not a shut-in. You're just a busy person who likes what they like. You're not. Yeah. You're not going out of your way to meet people. Let me rephrase it.
But I mean, that's most people, right? Like I work.
Yeah.
I go to the gym.
Yep.
I have to take time to meal prep.
You got to do
a lot
of the things.
It takes a few hours.
It does take time.
Yeah. And I mean, I have to find time to clean and give my dog attention and, spend time with the family, sleep.
Did hear a comment from Myron this week. He said, cooking is for brokies. What did you think about that? He was saying basically like, just order meal, do like those fresh meals to go kind of things.
I mean, if you can afford that crap, sure. Yeah. But like I've said it before, so I mean, I guess I'll say it again. I'm getting ready to start flight school. I don't have money for that.
Yeah, that's true.
Even if I kept my day job and I wasn't doing that, like that would be why
waste money on that?
Yeah, I mean,
I got his perspective. It was like, if you should be working at all times, is what he was saying.
Right, and for someone like him, like I get it, right? Because his time is worth more money.
Right?
Yeah,
hour cooking, going to the grocery store, all this other stuff. What could you do instead?
Yeah, but the average person, like that's just not feasible. He's right, but that's for a small percentage of people, right?
Sure.
If and I agree with the practicality of this saying, but like I've always heard people who have money, entrepreneurs, things like that, talk about how you have to allocate your time in the best way possible, right? Yeah. So like he's like, if I'm worth like $300 an hour, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for me to spend 8 hours having to get to the airport and fly coach versus with like renting a private jet, which may cost me $10,000, but if I'm doing it to make a deal that's going to make me, $1 million.
By that same logic, don't you think sleep is a waste of time to an extent? I mean, obviously you have to sleep, but wouldn't you find ways to travel while sleeping or something? Like you'd be min-maxing your time so much.
You're kind of saying that kind of like in opposition to what they're saying, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You're almost like, oh, don't sit and eat a meal because it's a waste of time. Eat it on the go.
Well, that's what a lot of them do. Like they talk about, like I Uber everywhere.
If you're gonna sleep on a plane.
Yeah, they talk, but they talk about like I Uber everywhere. I don't drive anymore because like I could be making a $50 million deal in the back seat kind of thing.
You should be sleeping 6-7 hours a night. If not, get the fuck up. You gotta go make more money.
So again, the kind of people who can actually do that and get away with it and just nonstop go and never crash out.
Yeah.
It's a very small percentage of people.
I agree.
We were talking just before this. Like, I mean, since January, I've been trying to get back in shape and get back to it and everything. And I just crashed out this past week. Just without
burnout.
Yeah. Well, it's not even really burnout. It's just exhaustion. Like I just got, there were days where I would sleep like 12 hours because like I couldn't, yeah. And it's the same kind of thing. Maybe I'm not drinking enough, and maybe I'm not chugging enough caffeine. I get on the test, but
I just had an energy drink myself.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's just for the average person, that's not going to work. For people like them, sure, you know. And I mean, what he's saying isn't wrong because his time is more valuable spent making deals or doing whatever he's doing than it is cooking.
Yep.
He's also got a woman that stays with him often that will do anything he wants.
That's true too. Yeah.
But that, I mean, kind of goes back to, the whole relationship dynamic. We talk about having a good woman that'll support you. If she's taking care of that, then you can make money and do other things.
So what do you think? Marriage cooked? over with, or just the minority
I think
standpoint now?
I think it's very close to being cooked in general. It always takes a while for Western culture to bleed over into other places. Takes longer for people to, I guess I should say, assimilate, but eventually it happens.
Yep.
We're what, less than, I would say, 100 years, so a generation away from just it being like this everywhere, and you can't even flee the country and go to like the Philippines or Thailand or South America to find a good woman. You're just gonna be stuck everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be some kind of crisis, unless it gets. We've talked about this too. Unless it just kind of gets to the point to where there's like a revelation, right? And one of the younger generations kind of wakes up and is like, no, we need to fix this. Like, that's not what we want. They were lying. You know, kind of like our generation with going to college, right? Going to college wasn't the ticket. Getting into a trade was the ticket.
Right. That makes sense. My next point kind of tags into that one is no matter how much me and you talk about it, or people on the internet or your red pill people talk about it, right? I don't think they care, and they're never going to change. It's almost a redundant point to preach anything, because these women don't give a fuck.
Well,
and the comment section shows that every single time.
I agree. It's going, like I said, it's going to be a generational thing. There's going to have to be children who witness these kinds of things from a young age. Right. So like those thoughts kind of get in there and become ingrained in them before they really grow up and have a chance to assimilate.
Yeah.
And it's going to be that. It's going to be, well, hold on, this didn't work for you. This wasn't. Same thing with college. You know, Gen Z is very few, very percentage wise compared to like millennials and Gen Xers. A very small percentage of them are going to college, and that's why. Part of the reason why is because,
and ironically, women are going to college more than ever. What do you think that shift is?
Feminism. I think it's feminism. There has been such a swing in public schools specifically about doing what they can to build up minorities and to build up women, which isn't a problem, right? I'm not saying it's bad, but it's been so much of an overcorrection that there are so many programs out there that promote this to those groups of people and that are there put in place to help them, right?
Right.
For example, I remember being in school and they're always like, oh, you know, you're smart, you'll figure it out, you'll be fine, you know. But there were things I needed help with and I just couldn't get help for it. And then, you know, you look at the people to the right of me who, you know, may be a woman or maybe you know, belong to a specific ethnic group,
right?
And because I mean, I went to, my high school was called the cultural mixing pot of the district. I was a minority in my high school.
Trust me,
before anybody comes at me for trying to sound racist.
Everybody thinks that, depending on where they're at. And you may have been for this area, but
I was absolutely
compared. I don't know.
They showed us.
I just compare it to.
They showed us the demographics
where I grew up, and it's like there's nothing more of a mixing pot out there.
But we're also in a suburban area. We're not in like a major city, right?
That's true.
But things like that, right? They were so much more promoted to go do these things, and we're like, here, we have these tools, that are available for you to do this, right? They made it seem more accessible, and I think part of the drive of feminism is still that lie that we were taught as kids, where you have to go to college if you want to be successful. Well, you want to be an independent woman, right? You don't want to have to depend on a man. You got to go to college.
And that's kind of where I was kind of going with it. If you're saying a whole generation is not going to college as often now, but women are still ramping up.
Men are not.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to have to clarify that, but specifically men are not.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is going to generate some hate.
Let's spin the hate button.
For the overwhelming majority of women, I genuinely do not think that we need to consider them in that category, because let's be real. Even though women are making more money today than they ever have, it's still going to be predominantly men making more money like it always has been, unless
Just because of the
there's just
fields
well,
that they're
yeah,
going into.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the jobs that are available, right?
Right.
I mean, Andrew Wilson was arguing with a feminist chick the other day. It's like, okay, well, if women are able to do these jobs, why aren't they? Right?
Sure.
It's because they're hard. It's because they don't want to. They're
Right.
inconvenient.
They want to. Yeah.
You know, like how come you don't? Out of 100 construction worker crew, you may
Doesn't
see one
allow
woman.
them to be in their feminine energy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They want to. They don't want their nails dirty and broken. They don't want all these other things that go
They
along
don't
with
have to
that.
sweat.
Bruises and scars and scrapes and bumps. And
Well, I'll tell you this: even like
farmers' tans.
especially like working construction and doing things like
Yeah.
that, a lot of men can't even keep up with that.
That's true.
Like
It's
that's
hard work.
hard.
It is hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's but like that's where a lot of the money is. So and that's kind of my point is like even though women are going to college, they still are not going to impact the economy in the same way that men will because they're just statistically speaking not going to make the kind of money that men are going to make.
Kind of goes into my next thing. This is really streamlining together here. I'm gonna see what you think about this, but I'm actually beginning to agree with OnlyFans, its existence and men using it. And the reason I say that, as much as we've harped against it in the past episodes, these women are not worth it. It's not worth going out on dates. It's not worth trying to domesticate one, and it's not worth trying to convince one of not doing her shenanigans almost. There's too many women. So as a man, if you're going to go out on your own at a young age, make money, start your business, do your thing, why not spend your money and just get the instant access instead of being shot down 100 times, having to deal with stupids, not get the sex that you want at the end of the day, and then still spend the money? Why not spend that $100 you would have just spent on dinner and just get what you want and be done?
So this may be a hot take. I would rather prostitution be legal than something like OnlyFans because
It
one,
almost
at
is.
least because it pretty much
It's
well,
almost the same thing
it
because
is
these
a-
OnlyFans girls are doing a little extra for some change.
it is a form of
Don't get it twisted.
it is a form of prostitution, sure.
They're
But
just doing it on a low
I'm talking about like the
Actual.
actual
Yeah.
prostitution. Like you can go to a brothel or something. Because
We're not
think
far
about it.
from that.
Well, we're not, but think about it, right? What do you now they both can lead to the degradation of society. I'm not
Yeah.
going to sit here and say that one is necessarily better than the well, I am going to say one is better than the other. All right. So think about it like this, right? In all other aspects, they're pretty much the same. But if you go to a brothel and you pay for it, at least you know what you're there for. You're getting it, right? And then you're getting out.
Yeah.
These OnlyFans chicks are creating parasocial, I guess they're promoting parasocial relationships with dude, and dudes aren't getting any physicality out of it whatsoever. You know, they can't get a handy. They're not, they can't touch her.
Mhm.
It's essentially like leading them. It's essentially like a forever chain of leading men on.
Right.
That's pretty much what it is. And I would
Essentially.
argue that promotes simp culture way more than being like, hey, here's a brothel.
Well, the simps are still the problem at the end of the day. I think we know that this is kind of like we've talked about it with the Ouroboros. There's no beginning and end. It's just kind of women do this, men do this, men do this, and it's just kind of a chain reaction. If I had to put a start on it, I think it's the simps. I think they're the root of the problem. If men stopped chasing, paying, and giving these women attention, they would have no choice but to change their behaviors. They couldn't do things like OnlyFans. They couldn't just ask a guy to pay their rent or their bills. They couldn't just put on a tight skirt and get free drinks at the bar. They'd be sitting there by themselves, and they'd be like, now what do I do?
So let me paint a different picture for you,
Yeah.
okay? So let's say OnlyFans goes away because brothels become legal.
Sure.
And OnlyFans is going to go away because these men are going to go where they can
In person
touch,
instead.
where they can touch some poon instead of having
For sure. Well, all these girls that are on OnlyFans would just start brothel work.
You say that, but
A lot of them, a large majority would. The ones that make a lot of money and are already having sex on camera would.
So I've heard a lot of women who are in the industry talk about how it's different and they like
That's
could not
because
see
they have
themselves
the
doing
option
it.
of morals now. when that bank account dries up and these girls have no skill set and they're retarded and they don't know what to do with their lives and how to make money,
I think it would
they
be
immediately go to that.
I think it would be a lot fewer than you think it would be. I think it would also kind of make these social circles of these women who get in.
Well, they wouldn't all get in because there'd be a limited number of
True.
allowed.
But the thing is like look at these women that come out of the corn industry and talk about how degrading it was and how much they hated it and how much they regretted things like that.
Sure.
It's going to create a wave of people that are in that category, right? So maybe that could be the trigger for the younger generation to be like, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I want the family. I want to be taken care of. I want a good man.
I mean, only time is going to tell. I hope that that's the answer we see in 20 years where the next generation grows up and they're a little bit smarter about, oh, well, my mom did OnlyFans and look how chip she is now.
You know? I genuinely feel bad for, because I mean, women aren't going to get it as much flack for it. I genuinely feel bad for the dudes growing up whose parents, whose moms are on OnlyFans and corn.
Yeah. This is why I say they're not going to learn. Ready? I'll give you a great example. If you think back to the 80s, everybody smoked cigarettes. Everybody. It was just the thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And 20 years later, in 2000s and 2010, we know that that is bad for you, causes cancer, right? Most people don't smoke cigarettes anymore, especially younger generation, right? You know what they're doing now? They're vaping. It's also terrible for you. And it's also going to cause problems, and we're going to see the long-term effect of it in 20, 30 years.
You're right, but...
And they're not learning from cause and effect. So what I'm saying is, what's the next iteration of OnlyFans going to be in 20, 30 years with VR and all these other things that we have? Sex robots, et cetera, right? So now they're just going to jump on that bandwagon instead of the OnlyFans one. Because that's going to be the outdated version, like cigarettes was.
So you're right, you're correct, but the thing is like there was still a significant change, right? Less people are smoking cigarettes. I'm not saying vaping is better. In fact, it can be worse for you in most cases,
right? But there's a huge majority of young women, especially, that are doing it.
Okay, right, but look at the impact. Like cigarettes they're still a booming business, but they're significantly less popular. And I would argue by the time we're older, they're almost going to be non-existent. People are going to have to, be growing their own tobacco and rolling it, and like the old days and stuff like that.
Still need it,
yeah.
Most of the people that were addicted to it are probably going to be passed on by then.
So what's going to happen whenever these AI sex robots become mainstream? Because they are being sold. Well,
OnlyFans. All I'm saying is let's wait and see what the detriment is of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll find out eventually. So makes your dick fall off after 100 uses. And
I mean, if that were the case, then
it's always going to be something.
But see, the thing is
grinds it too hard. Not made one size fits all.
I know it's not real. I know it's not real. And if women see this, they may, say this is gross or whatever, but like at least dudes are still getting some kind of physical access. And if you pay for the robot, right, it's like one and done instead of having to constantly waste money.
That's true. You might get like modifications and add things to it, right?
Sure.
You know what I mean? A little enhancement here, but a new update, new download, new firmware.
Sure the doll isn't real, but I mean, being able to, so like a lot of the
if it acts like a human, moves like a human, and has some functionality of chat built into it through an AI chat bot like we have now, people are going to use it, especially if they're lonely enough.
Yeah, I agree.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, people already spam these AI chat programs and they're not getting any physical intimacy.
Yeah.
So you can imagine if they're actually feeling something along with that, it's over.
Hey, I tell you what, if those bots are expensive, that'll make dudes get out and work.
We might find our new industry, to be honest. We'll start an AI sex bot.
I was telling you that business. The other day. Like, we need to.
How do we get in on the ground floor of that so we can be like
like
I don't know, maybe a manufacturer of them or.
Well, that would cost money. I just want to find. I just want to find a company that is doing it, part of manufacturing them, and
just get the little piece of the pie.
Yeah, or like the company that's
I want to be the guy selling them. I want to sell them, flip them for $5.99.
That's so funny.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, I genuinely think that's like the fringe industry to invest in right now. In the next 20 years, it's gonna be
sure
freaking crazy.
Sex industry always sells. Can't go wrong.
Yeah.
So, Do you want to jump into some of these and then we'll go back to what I've got?
That or we can, finish whatever. I don't care.
Okay. I've got just two more talking points. Should a woman, let's say a girl that you're dating, this is my dating perspective point this week, dating a girl for whatever amount of time, whatever feels long to you, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. You're pretty invested. Everything's going smooth. She opens up to you and she says, in her past, she has cheated before. Do you look at her differently?
Oh, I've dealt with this.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's always going to be a thought in the back of my mind now. That should not
even
come
though
up.
it was years ago or something
no,
like
that should not come up, because I mean, it's going to be in the back of my mind. Well, if you cheated on him.
So do you
why
think
wouldn't you
girls
cheat on
should just
me?
not tell you the truth?
In that regard, yeah.
Okay. So give me a couple of things they should just not tell the truth about. Is body count one?
Well, they can not tell the truth all they want, but a guy who has experience is going to be able to kind of figure out roughly where you're at.
Well, let's just say for this instance, you would have never guessed this person does this or could have the ability to do this because everything's going well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So cheating, if you had like a one-time manic episode or something, or kind of went off the rails, and that's the only time it's happened, you're not on medication, haven't been, ever, and it's just, that was like,
it was let's just say it was a get back. Bad boyfriend.
That's even worse.
Cheater.
That's even worse.
Went out and did the same thing to get back.
No, that's even worse, because now I either have to walk on eggshells around you, or
I can't mess up.
I'm gonna say one, or every time we get into a heated
an argument,
discussion,
you think she's gonna leave the house and go step out.
Yeah. And I mean, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, right?
Right. That's what they say.
Mean,
that's what they say. Then your car's tarred up and
yeah,
or
like she goes and bangs your best friend.
Yeah.
Now that didn't happen, but
no. There are plenty of stories of that happening.
Yeah. So anyway, cheating for any reason.
Yep.
Any kind of manic episode where you like just had a mental breakdown and did something stupid or caused some kind of like serious life issues, like there was like real-time consequences for it, right?
Yep.
An abortion.
That I feel like is definitely one to keep hidden.
Yeah.
I think that might go for men and women. I don't know if that's something you want to speak about going forward, because that kind of soils a relationship.
So I'll tell you, the last chick I dated, I straight up told her, or the last girl I lived with, I shouldn't say the last girl I dated, the last girl I lived with, because she was all for getting an abortion, this, that, and the other, and we would have these discussions. She's like, well, if I had a kid, she's like, you think we could honestly take care of it? I'm like, we would figure it out. Like,
everybody figures it out. That's what happens.
Yeah. And she was like, well, I just don't know if I'm ready. And I said, okay, well, here's what you have to do then. If you ever get pregnant by me, you cannot tell me. You cannot tell anyone else. You have to go and get an abortion and hide it from the world. Because if I find out, I'm done with you. Like, there is no, like, you will break me as a person. Like, there's no coming back from that.
Yeah.
And I will never stop thinking about it.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a whole nother hot topic if we really wanted to go into the political debate of abortions and things like that.
So I can quash that pretty quickly, actually.
Okay.
So look,
whatever you say, people are still going to have problems within the comments. But go for it.
Believe me, that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. So if abortion is legal, right?
Yes.
Then men should have the legal right to sign away all financial and otherwise responsibilities after the child is born.
I agree.
That's the only way it's fair. That's the only way it's fair.
That is true. That is true.
For abortion to happen,
I actually agree with. I think that's the best method. If the woman has the choice of abortion, which is pro-choice, then I also think the men should have pro-choice of being able to accept responsibility.
Yes.
And don't put that all on him if he doesn't want it. Because if you're at a 50-50 odds of I don't want it, I do want it, well, then we have to come to an agreement. You can have it, but I'm not doing it. Or if you're going to get rid of it, then see, but that don't work the other way. Flip it and inverse it. If the man wants the child and the woman wants to get rid of it.
So that's my next point.
Where do you go from there?
So that's my next point. So for a woman to get an abortion, she should be forced to get a notarized signature from the baby daddy
Saying what?
saying that it's okay to get an abortion.
What if he's not going to?
Then she has to have the kid. Oh well, you messed up. There are consequences for your actions.
But that's not pro-choice then again. You see what I'm saying?
No, it is pro-choice. Because
No, it's not.
No, because it's just as much his kid as it is yours.
That side of it, yes. But now flip it again. That's what I'm saying. If you flip it again, and the woman decides to have it, but the man didn't want it, now you're going to flip it and say that he doesn't have the right to sign the waiver. And again, because again, if it's both people have to agree, like you're just saying in the inverse, then again, both people would have to agree about keeping the child.
So if she doesn't want the kid, then she gives it to him and fucks off. Right? That's just like adoption. That's just like giving the baby up for adoption.
Instead of abortion, she gives him the child because he wants it.
Yeah.
And then she just gets to sign away the waiver rights.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I have liberal friends who have made the argument, no, you can't allow a man to sign away, rights to the child. He has to be financially responsible for it. Because once the kid is here, it's what's best for the child. I'm like, that's a cop out because it's a child whenever it's in her and it's developing.
So you think what's best for the child is the elimination of the child? That doesn't make any sense.
And their argument is always, no, it's not a child until she births it. I'm like, bullshit. Life happens at some point between conception and the time of birth, right? Like
that's a spicy topic.
It's inconsistent. So that's my take on it. That's a pretty logical take.
It is logical.
Women aren't going to like it because they think that they should have complete autonomy over your body. But here's the thing: whenever there's another child in you and something happens to you, and let's say someone attacks you, right? Yeah. And you lose the baby, they can be charged for homicide.
That's true.
So if a living being is inside of you, it is no longer just your body until you have that baby, right?
That's true.
And you are just as responsible for that baby as someone who would be for causing you to lose it.
Yeah, no, I can't argue it. That's again logic.
And if women aren't okay with men signing away their rights, then they're not for equal rights. You're straight up just not for equality, because there either is no abortion and the man is always on the hook, or there is abortion and the man can sign away his rights. That's the only way it's equal.
It's funny that women choose that they want equal rights and equality when it benefits them.
Yeah, but it's only when it benefits them.
That's very true.
Because guess what? If she decides she wants that kid and he signs away his rights, well, she ain't got somebody to pay child support now, right? She's got to figure a lot more out on her own.
That's true.
I bet you there'd be a lot
fewer. Goes back to what I said about men. Just stay away from women. Women just stay away from men.
people would practice.
Let's be done with this. Let's just end society here.
That comment is going to make all these women come in. Y'all are a bunch of incels. Y'all don't get women. Oh, it's so laughable.
Do you even talk to women?
It's so laughable.
Oh my God.
But anyway,
I think I responded and I was like, unfortunately, I do, and they're all insufferable.
No, but yeah, that. If that were to happen, I bet you a lot more women would show a lot better discernment on who they let inside them.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in a state where abortion is illegal anyway.
Technically, they're very choosy as it is.
Yeah, but they choose the wrong people a lot of times.
They do. They don't choose based on quality of baby daddy. They choose quality of.
Is he tall?
Check my boxes.
Yeah. Is he tall? Does he have a big pee-pee?
Yeah.
Does he have abs?
Does he gonna throw me against the wall?
Yeah.
Is he gonna turn me into a pretzel later tonight? Yeah. All right. This is off topic of dating, but this is the hot topic of the news. We'll finish it up and then we'll jump into all the videos. But the LA riots. We got to talk about it.
Oh boy.
Okay. We got to talk about it a little bit. It's the only thing everybody's talking about on the news. They're not just in LA now. There's protests in New York and Atlanta and Chicago and everywhere. All these liberal cities.
People love virtue signaling.
So, do you want me to give you my take?
Go ahead.
Okay. So, what this comes down to is the same thing with a child. Or have you ever had a job, okay, and they tell you just get the job done, and they let you kind of go about your business and let you do whatever,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden a new policy comes down and it kind of changes the way you can get things done.
Yeah.
And everybody at the job is like, "Oh, this is stupid. Why corporate doesn't even know what they're doing?" It's kind of the same thing. They let immigration go for so long that nobody thought the rules existed.
Mhm.
And now that the rules exist again, everybody's got a problem with it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So I tried to put myself in the alternative perspective than what I actually have. Obviously, my perspective is if you break the law, pay the consequences, and then don't fucking whine about it and cry and protest in the streets and hurt people and loot and pillage and break cars and attack cops and all this other dumb shit that they're doing.
I mean,
Okay.
so real quick, that is
Yeah.
all you are doing is making the point for people who are against immigrants coming in.
Well, yeah, of course. You're
You are showing, you are
you're
giving them,
emphasizing why we don't want you here.
you're giving them the example.
100%.
Yeah.
So I tried to give myself the reverse perspective. I said, first off, the first thing I have to do is take, if I had family or myself was illegal out of it. If my mother, my father, my grandparents, or if myself, if I was an immigrant and I was illegally here, obviously you side automatically with the liberal side of things because you're the one breaking the law in the first place. If you're seeing Uncle Joe get dragged away from Home Depot, you're going to side with that side of the fence automatically almost. So take that out of it. Let's take the personal emotional response out. In what world or living space do you agree with the left if you don't have a personal connection to somebody?
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Emotion. And
I tried to think about it. I was like, the only thing that I can possibly see is if you're on the stance of people are fleeing other countries because they have shit experiences there and they're trying to do better for their lives and start families. And if you're thinking from it from a humanitarian standpoint, I kind of get it. But the problem with it is you're still taking from all the people that are still here. You're
Mhm.
taking job, you're taking taxes, you're taking resources, you're
Mhm.
taking homes, all of these things. If none of those people were getting hurt, if the American people weren't getting affected by you being here, then I'd say whatever, fuck it. It ain't fucking bothering anybody. But the fact that you are doing all these things and it does affect our economy, that's inherently the problem.
Mhm.
You can't come break the law, expect good treatment when it is on the back of all the people that are already here.
Mhm. It's not just that, right? So if you look at countries like Germany,
Yep.
These other European countries that have just opened the floodgates in terms of allowing immigrants in,
Mhm.
Germany isn't Germany anymore. They have I see all these things all the time talk about how Germany as a country has essentially lost its sense of nationality.
Sure.
So that's one thing if you care about that, which a lot of people would say that they don't, right? When it comes to America.
Yeah.
But their crime rate is through the roof, right? I think their tax.
A lot of these countries that open their gates to immigration,
they're doing
France,
worse. Their
England,
GDP is down.
everything.
Like, yeah, it's
across
worse
the
the board. Yeah, very much so.
I mean,
And
statistically, how do you continue down that path if you understand that that's what's happening? Is it just the humanitarian,
they just
emotional
refuse to accept-
standpoint?
yeah, they just refuse to accept it, and they go to the like you said, the emotional humanitarian standpoint. Because I've had a lot of ex-girlfriends who are in that boat, right? And they just couldn't see past the logic of. So I had to say this to one girl to get her to understand it. Let's put you in a room, just you, surrounded by, let's say, 30 people, 30 men who are from another country. They look different than you. They speak a different language. You know absolutely nobody in this room. And you have to sit here and, eat whatever, go about your life. How are you going to feel in that room? The honest answer is I would be fearful, right? Because you don't know how these people are going to act. You don't know.
Sure.
You don't know what their culture is like.
Right.
Germany, I think it still happens on occasion, but when Germany first opened the floodgates, these Middle Eastern men were rioting in the streets because these people didn't conform to their religion, and there were like grape circles just all flooding the streets where they were. It was essentially like a mosh pit where they were beating up these women and then graping them, and this happened en masse. It's like, why, knowing that that could happen, why would anyone with a logical brain cell consider that it's a good idea to allow mass immigration to America? Like, I understand that's kind of something that America has always had, right? We've always
built
allowed
on immigration, right? Is what their excuse will be.
But we're not in that generation anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like, the more immigrants that populate an area, the more that area loses its sense of nationality. It's almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
You know, even if you look where we live, you go down certain parts of the street, you don't think you're in America anymore.
Right. No. Random side note, one of the things that they were chanting in the streets was this was stolen land and all this nonsense about California being
California wasn't
Mexico and stuff.
stolen.
No, it was sold for $6 million.
Yeah, $6 million back then.
Back then, which equates to about 600 and something million now.
Yeah.
So the argument is just redundant all around. I was thinking of ways that we can prevent this whole thing and fix it going forward. And there's two that I came up with, and one's kind of logical and one's kind of silly. But I'll go with the silly one first, just to tell you. So why don't we just take LA, quarantine it off, and just let them do their thing? We'll never deport anybody ever again. Just let them figure it out.
It's like a movie.
Yeah, I mean, they want to live in peace with themselves, then fucking let them live.
I saw actually a map where someone was like, please let this happen. And it was essentially like Pennsylvania and North, and then Washington, Oregon, California all became part of Canada. I'm like, sounds good to me.
Yeah,
you can have all that shit.
Yeah, all that shit.
Take it.
Craziness.
Freaking take it.
The other idea that I had is you have all these people that are complaining that they want to be here. And then you have the other side saying that they're illegally here. Why don't we force them, not even force them, if you want to be here, sign up for the military. Have a place that they can walk down to, no matter how you got here. You jump the fence, you swam through the water, you go down to the spot, there's a building, you go sign up. The next day, you'll be drafted off.
You're gone. They need to ship them out.
Don't ship them out. Ship them out. You signed up, ship them out. Go to your 4 years, you come back, you're an American citizen. Congratulations.
I think that would work. You can already sign up for the military.
I would even extend it as far as your wife and children will also be permitted. So if you're the man that does that.
So I actually knew someone in high school who was a foreign exchange student, and he was like, yeah, I'm staying here after senior year. He came for like a year and a half or 2 years. So junior, senior year.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I'm going to go to the American Air Force. That's how I'm going to get my citizenship. So like, that's already a path available, apparently.
Interesting. See, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, but he enlisted in the Air Force.
Which makes
so
sense.
That he
if
could
you're willing to defend the new country that you're willing to be a part of, then I say let him in.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm sure there are a lot of logistical and otherwise arguments that could be made on why that's not good, because like, you don't have a vested interest in they
in the country or whatever, right? Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't, or like you do,
but if like you enlist anybody anyway. And we also have things like the draft and stuff like that you have to sign up for as a young man. So it's like all those people don't want to be there either.
People are saying again, it might happen if we go to war with Russia.
Yep. So crazy. Lot of stuff to talk about here. I did see one other thing. I'm gonna butcher it, but I'll throw it your direction. Maybe you do your own research on it, because I'm not as educated about it, and I definitely can't pronounce the Middle Eastern names as well as I should to be able to explain this thing. Okay, but have you heard of the red heifers?
No.
Okay, so this is a thing.
Is it red? Because
no. So the red heifers are red cows.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So basically what is happening, and it's something that nobody really talks about, and I have to be careful with my words because of YouTube. The people that play with dreidels. Okay.
So
The Jays.
Jews?
Yeah,
you can say Jews.
I don't know if you can.
We're not saying in a derogatory way. They're Jewish.
Okay. The Jewish people. There is a group of them, the Zionist ones.
Okay.
Okay. There is a reason that they have a lot of control in America and in Israel. And this is part of why Israel's war is happening with Palestine. Okay. The real reason it's happening is because in their scriptures, there is a statement talking about the sacrifice of a pure red cow. Okay. This cow cannot have any white, black hair. It has to be purely red, not a single speck of imperfection.
Okay.
Okay. The last time this has been done was hundreds of years ago. This cow has to be sacrificed before a new temple can be built. The new temple has to be built on the mosque that is currently one of the most holy sites of the Muslims. Okay? This is all in their Quran. If this is accomplished...
Well, the Quran isn't Jewish.
Sorry, the other one. The
Torah.
The Torah.
Which is literally
See,
just...
This is why I can't speak on it.
It's like just the Old Testament.
Yes.
But...
Okay, so the Torah. So, this is the way I'm understanding it. I've watched stuff on it multiple times and did some research and read about it. But what they're trying to accomplish is, since this is all there, these people who are devout, these Zionists, believe this shit is so real. It doesn't matter what we think and how ludicrous it actually is in the Western world. 5 of these cows have been born last year in Texas.
Oh, God.
They spent $500,000 flying them to Israel. They are currently being raised, and they cannot be sacrificed until they are 3 years old, because that's part of their guidelines. It also has to be sacrificed on elevated Holy Land overlooking the mosque where the new temple site will be built. They now have these 5 cows in Israel. They just turned 3 in April this year. And for the last year, 2 years, they've been excavating underneath the mosque because they already control it, but because they have a partnership with the Muslims, they haven't destroyed it. But they're weakening the integrity of this mosque already. It has been shown to have cracks in the foundation and in the building itself, and all attempts and orders to get it rebuilt have been refused by the Israeli government and denied. Okay. This is some craziness, okay? They're ready. They also have found that all of the building materials and structures have already started being produced for the new temple. They already have the stones, which cannot be carved or created with machines or man-made things. They invested in diamond cutting materials and tons of people. There are religious leaders that are on there dedicated, saying all Jews need to come back to Israel. This is your purpose. This is your main mission in life. It's time. They think that because of completing all this, the Antichrist or something is going to come back to life, and they are going to rule over the world and all other people and religions. And this is the reason Israel has now attacked Palestine and Gaza. Because they have the crazies that are so devout and believing in this that it's time to make their move so they can build this fucking temple. This temple used to exist. This will be the 3rd iteration of the temple. From what I remember reading about, the last time it was destroyed was when Rome seized them and destroyed it.
Wow.
Hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And they haven't had their temple in that spot since.
That's all. Ooh.
It's a lot, right? So there's a lot going on that people don't talk about, and it's hushed by the media, because if you look at all of our American mainstream
And they're
media,
controlled by Jewish people.
every single one,
Yeah.
99% of them.
Yeah, they're controlled by Jewish people.
So they're never
Yeah.
going to talk about the
No.
shenanigans that they're doing.
No, absolutely not. Yeah,
Right.
that makes sense.
So,
I mean,
not dating related whatsoever, but I thought it was interesting, and I wanted to, we'll share it and see what comes out of it.
I'm gonna have to look into that, because that seems kind of. Oh, I mean, it
It's a
seems
lot.
crazy, but at the same time, what I know,
They have videos
what
of
I've
all this stuff,
studied,
the red cows, them
Yeah.
inspecting them, all of it. It's nuts.
well, what I studied about, you know, the late antique period and I guess kind of the Christian denomination as a whole, religion as a whole. I can't say it's shocking. That sounds like something that crazy people would do.
Realistically, what could happen at the end of all this is we could have a crazy world war between the Muslims and the Jews because of them destroying one of their third most holy sites in the whole planet.
So you think it would cause a world war?
Yeah, because they're both nuclear powers. It would be chaos. There'd be a nuclear war going on in the Middle East. It'd be psychotic. And you know how trigger happy everybody is as they are. And especially when it comes to religion.
Right, but how likely do you think it is that people take sides, or that they just go, okay, you launched the nuke, so we're going to wipe you out?
Well, they're talking that currently the reason that it's not happening for the Muslims is because they're saying that Trump is confiscated, like is in on it. And that's why he's been meeting with Israel and doing all these things and aiding them in the war and sending them weapons, even though they're in the wrong, right? This whole craziness that's going on. So because America...
they've both done terrible things.
Yeah, but just at least from what I've been seeing, Israel's kind of the worser of the two, if that makes sense. And a lot of the propaganda is falsified by them to make the other people look worse. Just a side thing. I mean, obviously take whatever perspective you want, but it seems like that's kind of how it's going. At the end of the day, because of America's backing, that's why other people have not gotten involved and attacked Israel. And they're just letting it play out. Like nobody else wants to get involved. They're like, I'm not messing with fucking United States. Fuck that.
Yeah.
You know.
So. Yeah, the rest of Putin said it in his interview with Tucker Carlson. The rest of the world sees the U.S. as the boogeyman.
Yeah. So
rest of the world, excuse me. I don't know if I said that right. The rest of the world sees the U.S. as the boogeyman.
So not good. Not good. Interesting things. Nothing to do with dating, but curious. Check into it. It's we can get into some of these videos here. So I haven't seen any of these yet for everybody watching or on the video.
Yeah, if you're watching the live stream, sorry, there won't be any.
It won't be video. You should hear the audio. I will try to add it in post once I actually put the videos up, and see how much extra editing this is going to cause me to do. But we'll go with it, because I'll have to match up probably the audio too.
Not really. I mean, it should be fairly easy.
Because I'll have to lay the video image over the time that the audio starts. You know what I mean?
I mean, get it close.
Get it close. Okay. All right, so I'm going to watch these. I'm going to turn this a little bit towards you so you can see what's going on, and then I guess we react and see what's going on. So we got 4 videos here.
Oh, not that one. Not that one.
Not this
one?
That
was specifically for us.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Right,
okay, so
let's see what this guy's talking about. It says, I think my marriage just ended over an Xbox. We got a gentleman who's...
He's being filmed by a woman.
It's crazy you selfish and I'm self-centered. I must be the most selfless person when it comes to you.
Okay, so I know that was quick.
That was part 3 of
so context.
Context.
So anyone watching live, the gentleman was carrying his stuff out, right?
In trash bags.
And the woman was nagging him about it. She did one of those passive aggressive things that women like to do. She took his Xbox and she washed it with soap and water. And he came home and found it like that. And so he was like, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah.
I looked into it a bit more. This woman makes videos talking shit about her husband all the time. Apparently he makes good money. He was paying all the bills. And it's just, he does anything she asks him to. And it's just one of those things this is how I find peace. And she could not stand the fact that he played video games to relax and enjoy himself.
So yeah, that's what that essentially comes down to, is just somebody who does not respect their man. That's the root of the whole thing. They don't respect anything about him, and they don't take anything that he's doing or his peace into consideration, and it's all about them, and they're selfish, and they honestly don't deserve to be married. So good on him if he actually left and stayed gone. For sure. So we'll jump into this next one here. This lady's face already. Let's see.
4.2. Small.
So she's got a measuring tape.
She's talking about dick size.
What am I gonna do with this? Even if you know what you're doing, I won't feel this. Next.
So Go ahead. I'll tell you what the comment said.
Okay, so basically, the old size versus girth versus does size matter conversation, right?
Yeah.
The lady's got a measuring tape. She's talking about 4 inches and just how she won't feel it no matter what, and no matter how good you are with it. So, go ahead. What do you want to say about it?
So here's the thing. I meant to look up specifically what the numbers were again before we went live, and I forgot. It slipped my mind.
Okay.
But the average length in the U.S. is 4.5 to 5.5 inches.
It's unfortunate.
The average girth is about the circumference of a quarter. It may not seem like a lot, but then you pick up a quarter and you're like, oh, I can see it.
Yeah, I mean,
anyway,
not a lot. Yeah.
The average vaginal canal is not 4.5 inches deep.
No.
And the average circumference is about the size of a nickel.
Interesting.
So, what are you saying about yourself if you're saying you can't feel something
Well,
that's average?
what is the average length? Because
4.5 to 5.5. Are you talking about of a vaginal canal?
vaginal canal.
I didn't
It's
look it
gotta
up.
be longer.
I don't want to. Before you hit like her what's
Cervix.
it called? Her cervix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that.
It's got to be at least 7 or 8.
I don't think it's 7. I think it's like yeah, around 7, like 6.5 to 7, maybe.
Interesting.
So a lot of people in the comments were like, well, yeah, a camper looks small driving through the Grand Canyon. You know,
true.
stuff like that.
So they were just calling her loose, basically, for being judgmental.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. That is pretty small, regardless. I mean, if you are that guy that's got a 4-inch piece, I mean, you got the unlucky lottery in life, honestly.
Well, sure.
It is what it is, but it's just one of those things you deal with.
But like biologically speaking, if you have at least 4 inches, like that's more than enough for like just about any woman to feel or be able to have fun with. Scientifically speaking, like these women who think they need a bigger one,
I think that thing would
like,
just fall out. But
it's
that's
cool,
just me.
but
somebody who's, I don't know. I'm not going to talk about it on here, but I don't know. I get it. That's very strange, though. All right, we'll jump into this next one. We got this lady with a half-shaved head. It says, my husband is canceling our Disney Vacation Club trip because I refuse to allow his other kid from another woman to come with us. It's not my kid, but it is my vacation. Oh boy, let me.
Yeah. So for anyone in the live, for anyone in the live stream, this woman's got like a shaved head, half-shaved head. Dudes, that's a red flag.
Half-sleeve tattoo.
Red flag. Like. Well, tattoos or whatever, but the haircut is a huge.
She's dressed like.
She's dressed like a dude.
A dude. Let's just put that out there too. Let's see. All right.
I don't care. I have already told you this. Like, I'm just trying to explain to people what is going on right now, okay? But they are not my kids and they are not coming. Like, that is just how I feel about it. We are DVC members and we have been planning this Disney World trip. It's the Disney Vacation Club, if you're not familiar. I got a letter in the mail today that literally said, oh, we see that you've canceled your plans, blah, 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 blah. My husband went and canceled our plans, literally canceled our Disney Vacation Club plans that we have been planning and saving up for it. Our kids are excited about it. We have 4 children. We have been married for 7 years. We go on multiple Disney vacations a year. We're clearly Disney Vacation Club members. This man canceled our trip because I will not let his child from another woman come with us on this trip. That is what I said. You heard me, okay? And he's over here like in a meltdown, an argument with me because I won't let his other kid come to our Disney vacation with us. We have been together for 7 years now. He is the person that went and had a kid with another woman. It's not my fault. It's not my problem. It's not my child. I'm not a stepmom. I didn't sign up to be a stepmom, okay?
Yes, you
do.
Oh, please.
That went out and had another baby with another person, and that is not my problem.
Yeah, we don't have
if
to
you
keep
date
going.
a person, man or woman, with a child already, you are signing up to be a step whatever.
Agreed, 1000%.
It is what it is. You don't like it, don't fucking date that person.
All that I care about is that we are DVC members and we keep going on these Disney Vacation Club vacations, and we've always been going as a family, and this year we're not adding an extra person. I'm supposed to what? Like, no, I didn't sign up to be a stepmom. I do not care. Like, it's not my kid, okay?
So she has kids with this man of her own now.
Yes.
It's tricky.
I confronted him about this letter that I got in the mail today, and now he's telling me that our vacation trip is canceled. And also, he's like, well, you can still go, but I'm going to stay because you're not letting my other kid come. Like, okay, no, I guess that I'll just take our kids because I'm going anyways, okay? Because we have this vacation planned and I'm still going. So I will take my kids to
What is
Disney World.
selfish?
He can just stay here and figure out what to do
C-word.
with this Mexican thing because I'm over it.
That's
That's
rough.
that's so first off,
Did
you
she
are
get like all the hate on
Yeah,
this?
I think it was kind of mixed.
Really?
So I couldn't find any context, like whether or not, how old the kid was or whatever. I
Yeah.
assume they're all within, the same age brackets, right? They're all within a few years of each other. The thing that bothers me the most about this is how often do you see women guilt tripping dudes about doing things for their babies with other dudes, about
That's crazy.
like even just getting like food for them, right? Or Happy Meals or whatever,
Yeah.
or anything of that nature. Like especially like a vacation. Do you really think it's healthy for that child to not be included and to think that, oh well, daddy's gonna go off with his other family now, I guess I'm just gonna stay here? Like, what does that do to a child?
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, again, that's why context of how old the child is. If they're so young, which I doubt, because if he had this child in a previous marriage, they're probably older. And
But
that's,
let's say they're teenagers. Even then,
let's say, yeah, it depends how close he is with the child too. If he's seeing that kid every week, and the kid's coming over and being a part of your family with your kids too, which it doesn't seem like that's the case. If this lady doesn't feel like she's prepared to be a stepmom, she must not see that kid very often.
even if she doesn't, that's
there's context that needs to be had here, but I don't agree with her either way.
No,
it just
like, how terrible of a person can you be
to not let a kid come? But how, again, if the kid is 18, 19 and you don't want anything to do with the kid, or a 22-year-old just because it's their kid, you know what I mean?
I genuinely believe she would have mentioned that if the kid was that much older, though.
Maybe. I mean, if the kid's between 7 and 15, I would say you're a loony bin lady for not letting that kid come. That kid should go to Disney.
Absolutely, yeah.
What the hell?
What a terrible person.
Yeah.
And then talking about how I'm gonna go with my children.
Here's the other part. Why did it take so long for this guy to realize that this lady was a terrible person?
Yeah.
Why did you have kids with her? She said she had 4 kids with him or something.
Yeah. In 7 years.
Why did you keep knocking this girl up, bro?
I agree.
You fucked up.
I agree.
This is partly on him.
Yeah.
For staying with this trash.
I agree. This next chick's good. This next one's good.
I fucked myself. Okay. This one's good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we got.
Fuck him, feed him, leave him alone. Do you want to know the saying I'm absolutely disgusted with? Men are hard. Baby, the stuff you have to give a man to keep him forever is free. The things you have to give a woman to keep her forever will cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. With that being said, let me fucking reiterate. The things you can give a man to keep him at peace and happy in your relationship and marriage is unconditional fucking love. Example number 1, freedom. He wants to go and have a guy's night out once a week, or go shoot deer, or game on a system for an hour. Who gives a fuck? Let him. Point number 2, and I can't express this one enough, to be able to show his emotions. If he's having a bad day, let him be angry. Don't talk him out of it. Just stay away from him until he calms down. This one may differ. Some men may want to hug. If he cries and you throw that in his face or call him weak, you are the problem, not him. He should be allowed to express any and all emotions. Fear, anger, sadness, confusion, doesn't fucking matter. To be able to show his feelings of love through intimacy, whether it's smacking your butt while you're doing the dishes or having relations 3 to 4 times a fucking week. This should not even have to be up for fucking discussion. To be able to communicate freely. Do you know how many couples I have seen try to have a conversation and the woman shuts him down and calls him stupid? And it will be over like fucking curtains or the dogs or the kids or the house or bills or whatever. The motherfuckers can't even open their mouths without you, like getting at their necks.
These are all women that just
He
shouldn't be married.
He doesn't talk to me. Gee, Karen, I wonder why.
I agree.
He can't even speak freely.
You know,
to have a say in how his children are raised. If I see one more of you fucking bitches in person in public, when that man is disciplining those children verbally and you're cutting him down and going, no, dad's wrong, do this, I'm going to come undone. You are showing your children to disrespect him and that no matter what he says, it's fuck you, dad. I only have to listen to mom and I don't have to listen to other authorities.
That in itself
teachers.
is on the man.
Do you see where that's going to go in the fucking
because he
future?
needs to get his wife in check then.
To guide you, to protect you, to trust you, to love you, to simply be happy. What you people call toxic masculinity is just a man's way of thinking, how do I protect her? How do I keep her safe?
Yep.
You girls have to learn the difference between guiding and controlling. If you would stop picking the bear, you would realize when your husband is checking your location and checking in on you,
Picking the bear.
it's to make sure you're safe. When he's walking in front of you and not next to you, it's not narcissism. He's making sure he can see everything going on and what is about to pass you. Stop reading between the lines. Stop listening to these fucking feminists on TikTok.
That's a big one.
They're not bad men. Society's trying to trick you into thinking they are. So yeah, that's my piece.
And some people get it. Not enough. Our comments speak volumes on that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, she's a pick me. Yeah, but I bet you she's happily married, and I bet you that dude will do anything for her.
Facts.
That's probably a good one to end it on.
That is a good one because that was a long one.
Yeah, I am a huge proponent of corporal punishment.
Okay.
I will spank my kids.
Yep.
All these feminists can take their gentle parenting and shove it where the sun don't shine.
Yeah.
Gentle parenting is for gentle children. And if I'm scolding my kids or if I'm disciplining them and my wife disagrees with it, she better wait till we're done and the kids aren't in the room, or we are going to have bigger problems.
That's true.
And I'm coming from a childhood where I was beat a few times and definitely more often than I probably should have been. Not saying I'm going to beat my children, but there's a time and a place, and you know, some people just have hard-headed kids, and at some point you have to get a message across, and there's only one way that they will understand that message.
Yeah.
And if it comes down to it and she fights me on it, we are going to have some issues.
Going to have some words.
Yeah.
Yeah. Parenting 101 with Chase. So, yeah, I don't know where else we go from here. We've talked about a little bit of everything. Crazy politics, crazy other things.
You ladies in the comments hear that? That woman's happy. She's wifed up. She's got everything y'all want and more.
They'll never see it. It's not going to be a clip. Unless
Eat
I just
it.
add it at the very end.
Eat it. You should add it.
I'll clip this part and just put it in a clip.
Eat it.
Eat it.
That woman is correct. Y'all aren't. Y'all are screwed beyond saving.
Well, I am looking forward to replying to more hate mail this week.
I wonder how many people are going to call me bald this week. That's always funny. It's always funny to me. Like you do understand that
it's
women.
a new week and you're still bald.
Yeah. Women like bald dudes. Like it's not
a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. God damn, man. I don't know.
Or make up your mind. You want a dude with hair? You want a man without hair? Like, you know.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's got a preference when it comes to that stuff. So I don't think it's a factor, to be honest. You just got to find the one that's interested in it.
I mean, it's never been an issue.
Yeah. So, all right. We will end it there. Like, subscribe, all that good fun stuff. Leave us some comments, share some videos of ours. Reach out to us if you want to talk about anything fun. I am considering trying some new stuff and maybe starting a Patreon instead. But I have to look into it because I tried to do it the other night and Patreon was just having all sorts of issues loading. So I didn't get to do it yet. But that is a new avenue that I was thinking about going to help pay for some of this equipment and everything too. So, yeah, we'll talk more about it next time if it works out and what it's going to look like. But maybe some tiers and all that good stuff. We'll talk about it ourselves off the camera and see what we want to do. But that's about it. We will see you guys next week. Everybody, don't kill each other. Stop relating relationships to politics. And yeah, see you next time.